Hey everybody, it's time to roll the wind. Thought I'd give you a quick update on a quick trip to Biloxi I had last weekend. Sorry for the delay and sorry for not having posted anything in a few days, but need to get this caught up and then we'll work on some more strategies. Wife and I went down there Thursday night and got in about 10 or 10:30 and really didn't do a whole lot. There was a friend of mine down there that goes by 22 inside. And so 22 and I met up real quick at a table. Very briefly, it was his travel day, it was my travel day, and we both decided that we needed to not play after just a couple of quick hands, rest, get up next morning, hit them hard. So we got up on Friday morning. Beautiful weather down there, absolutely beautiful weather last weekend. Get down there, I get on the table. It's there's a gentleman at stick left one, the guy straight out. It's a 12-foot table. 22's left-handed. He gets over to stick right one. I get over here, right here in the hook. Come to find out, the guy at stick left one kept kind of staring at me and asked me a couple of questions, and finally asked me if I was on the internet, and I said, "Yes, sir, I am." He said, "I thought that was you. I had my hat on." He said, "That hat made me think it might be you." So when you see the guy in the hat, it's probably me, and it's probably that hat that I just threw in upside down. Right now, anyway, got a gray one, got some Stetsons. But the hands were decent. The guy's name was Charlie. I really appreciated Charlie. Charlie even insisted on giving up his position at stick left one so I could have it. And I offered not to do that, but he kind of insisted, so I went ahead and took it. I had decent rolls. 22 was having a hard time getting zeroed in a little bit, but we had a good time. We played there for a couple of hours, went over to the Harrah's, which I really like the tables at Harrah's. I've told y'all that before. And couldn't quite get the results I wanted. It was their crapless table. And I was using an older die set that I had used there before. Wasn't quite getting the results on those outside extreme numbers that I wanted. So rather than keep taking a bankroll beating, we left and went back. Wife and I went and had lunch. Really, this weekend was more of a casual weekend. While there was some pretty good play involved, I was also trying to let her relax. She's been under a lot of stress with different things, and I want her to be able to sit at the pool, have some fun, and just relax and enjoy some good food. Friday night, we get back on the tables, and we had our absolutely best run. Our whole weekend had been an issue of either he was kind of zeroed in or I was zeroed in, or neither one of us could get zoned in where we needed to be. That Friday night, we were killing it at the Hard Rock. We played a lot at the Hard Rock. I can't say enough good things about the people there. The dealers were great. A couple of them remembered me from a couple of weeks ago. Just wish they had the all tall small. I probably wouldn't leave if they had the all tall small, but they don't. But I enjoy playing on their tables and enjoy the crew. But we got on, and even when you make money on their tables, you earn it, because there's no bonus bets. You have to earn what you take off that table. I hit a $420, I can't remember now if it was a 6 or an Same hand, I had a $250 tin that I hit. 22 gets the dice and he gets super zoned in. And he was hitting 666. He was just hitting sixes like crazy. Got the 6 pushed up to 420. And all of a sudden the 6s disappeared and the 9s show up. And he started popping 9s. And we started, it was a $15 table, so we're going for $15 on the 9 all the way up to $500. We had $500 sitting on the 9. That's a good press. Now, I've gone through that press with you guys before on 15 to 25 or to 15 to 26, depending on the casino down there. Automatic buys on the 5 and 9. 15, 26, or you can go 15 to 36. Skip the 25 if you want. 15, 36, 80. Collect 116. Next hit, drop $4, go to 200. Collect 290 for 300. Drop $10, go to 500. That's where we were at. A lot of fun. We were having a blast. When we colored up, I bought in for 800. I colored up for 2,800 after all tokes to the dealers. And then we were walking towards the cage, and that 16-foot crapless, 14-foot, 16-foot aircraft carrier crapless table of theirs was open. Nobody was on it. I told 22, I said, I gotta give it just a couple of tosses. So I went back to a new set that I've been using that gives me a lot of horn. It's been giving me a lot of horn numbers plus even numbers. Y'all know I love even numbers. 2, 1, 2, 4. And I started out with like 3-way craps, and I hit a 2, and I pressed it up again. Didn't have to put any money on the extremes. I placed the 6 and 8. It's a $25 table. Threw a 12. I'm getting paid and hadn't even set a point. Loving it. Finally set the point. Kept throwing this. Hit a few more extremes after I placed them. 7'd out. Nobody else still on the table. I said, I'll do it one more time. And I tossed. And I've got this little rule, mental rule that I use. If I don't hit an extreme number, time to color up. So I colored up with a small profit, $200 or $300, I guess, after all that was said and done. Went to the cage, called it a night. Saturday morning, get up, instead of doing my coffee run like I normally do, went down, the wife and I had breakfast, 22 there. Inexpensive breakfast at Hard Rock, at the Sweet Factory or whatever it's called there, something, Sugar Factory, I guess, I don't know. Anyway, you get your traditional breakfast meals, your traditional southern breakfast meals. Plenty of comp tickets, always plenty of comp tickets at the Hard Rock for us. So, enjoyed that. He and I went and played at IP afterwards. And he had had tremendous success a couple, 3 weeks earlier there when we were there. We were having a little trouble, and we were both falling in a hole, and I was getting down about the point where I'm like, I'm not playing here no more. I'd lost my, played with my free play, plus I was digging into my buy-in. And finally, for some reason, they got a very, very hard table there. I went to 5-4, 5-4 hardway set. I never throw a hardway set. I mean, it's just kind of like our training wheel die set we all start out with, but I went back to the training wheels with my hardway set and started hitting some numbers. And I was placing started out with $5, and I said, what the heck, I'm going to go ahead and put $5. And I finally hit, when I would hit one, I would go 5 all the way around. Even if it had been wiped out, I'd still put 5, another 20 bucks on. And I hit a $15 8. And hit that, 7'd out shortly thereafter. We didn't hit any all tall small there at all. With that $15 8, I colored up. I was down about $600 or $700 when I started my hand, and when I colored up, I was $100 ahead. So that's a big win, and I'll take it. Saturday night, get back over after we've had a good lunch or good dinner. Wife and I ate at the Hard Rock Cafe, and I wanted to go up and try some more at the Beau Rivage. I had not been able to play there much. 22 does not like those tables. I like those tables. I got on the Craps. I come out again with that die set right there, doing it's a $25 table, so I did a $25 world bet. Just like that, hit aces. Press the world bet up another 50 bucks using the same set. No, I'm sorry, I am mistaken. I was throwing on the come out on that table, that set right there, 6, 4, 5, 6. So I was hitting single pitch aces, hit them back to back after pressing that world bet up to 50. Pressed it to 75, didn't hit it, had a long roll. They don't have an all tall small. I know I hit at least 3 of the extreme numbers, a few of them more than once after we got to betting on it. Black chip better down here, putting max odds on everything. Finally 7'd out. Dice go, he passes, they go all the way down there around, and everybody passes the dice right back to me, and I'm down here in the hook. I'm shooting from down here at 11.5 feet with that 2-1, 2-4 after the come out. And not a bad toss. Not a bad toss. I had another good little stay, but then everybody else decided they wanted to throw, so they started slowing us down. So then we go back to the Hard Rock. 22's got family there, so he heads out. My wife's going to call it a night, she says, so I go down to Harris. I go back to Harris and go by myself, buy in at the hook on the $15 crapless table. Same strategy. Coming out the same way, using that dice set. I was about the third one after I bought in. The dice were about 3 people from me. Got the dice. Put 25, 25, 25 on the all tall small. I hit the tall. I hit a ton of hardways for some reason. And people were betting big on the hardways. I did not. I was concentrating on trying to hit that all tall small if possible with that quarters on it. Plus, I had significant monies by that time getting on out here on the table. Using the field early, play some bets. It's really a great roll. I don't know how many it was. It took forever. Everything slow. They were breaking in some new dealers on that $15 crapless table. Crapless is a little bit slow anyway. It was extra slow with new dealers and lots of bets. Waited on the dice to go over, and they were good little hands tossed, hitting some extremes all the way around. Nothing spectacular. I missed the small with a 2. I did not ever hit the 2. And dice go all the way around. I throw one more time. It's a average hand. wasn't close to either of the bonus bets. And then I decided it was getting late. I'd go color up. So I colored up with a good little profit off that table. Probably a little excess of $1,200–1,300. Colored up, drove back up to Hard Rock. Wife and I went down and we run some money through some slots for a little bit and called it a night. Got up Sunday morning, said, well, I'll go try the bow for a coffee run. And I got there and I got to feeling so weak. And I realized after I got up there that I had not eaten since a late lunch, early dinner. I actually got kind of shaky. So I threw a couple of hands and headed back down to the bow. Tried to get something to eat. The lines were too long and the staff was short. And I headed back down to Hard Rock. Going to get something at Dunkin' Donuts, and they were short-staffed that morning. Line was long. I grabbed a pack of crackers or something out of the room, went down, threw one quick hand, or session rather, with 22, but they only had half the table open. Only the table on the left side of the stick was open. So he didn't have a position to shoot from other than straight out. We didn't do any good, and I told him, I said, I'm going to color up. I got a long drive. And, you know, it was a quick trip. It honestly was not profitable. Part of it was because we threw some money in some slots. The other part was we had a hard time Saturday getting in sync with our tosses until I got on that crapless table. Lost a little bit that Friday as well. Friday was not good until we got that long run. It seemed like we just kept falling in a hole and just about coming up or coming up ahead, and then we'd bleed chips down and we'd get back close. So I ended up down just a little bit. But it was really, like I said, I was going to play craps with him, but I was really trying to make sure my wife had a good time and enjoyed her stay down there. She had not stayed at the Hard Rock. She did like it a lot. She enjoyed the pool, enjoyed the room. I would say the only rooms that might be nicer, of course, would be the Beau Rivage, but you've got to either pay for them or have good comps to get one of those rooms. Definitely better than the Harris rooms. It's been a long time since I've stayed anywhere else. Golden Nugget used to have a decent room. I remember that. Anyway, so I wanted to give you that little update. Y'all know my presses on those 6s and 8s. If you don't, we'll do some more in these videos. I'm going to work on some of these 5s and 9s. I'm really going to be searching for a set that I can use on my outside numbers. It's going to probably end up being something close to that. Some sort of 2V or 2V mutant set. Because I really liked it when we got those 5 and 9s pushed up there high. And when you can go 15 to 36 to 80, now you hadn't collected anything, but you only got $15 invested. And then collect 1/16 on the next hit. So that's the 4th hit. That's pretty sweet. $25 table, you can get there one hit quicker, and you can get your money back. You can go from 25 to 36 and get your quarter back, 36 to 80, then take a hit. So depends on what size table you're on and what your play is. But that Parson press, as we call it, that's that press I came up with. Parson press really works good. Now, there was a guy at the Beau Rivage, and he was starting out with $200 5 and 9s, and that was it. So he knew the game, he knew the automatic buys, and he was doing on his second hit what I'd be doing on my fifth or sixth hit. Was he was dropping 10 and going to 500. And he'd go 200, collect 290, drop $10, go to 500 on the next hit. And he was always happy if that fourth hit came in. So if you know those progressions and you know and can remember those automatic buys, which are totally different than your Vegas pay on those 5 and 9s, you can get there in a hurry and make some sweet money. Alright, this week we'll try to get out some more videos, at least by the end of the week. I appreciate everyone that watches. I appreciate people who come up to me at the tables and ask me if I'm the roll to win guy. I do appreciate it. I enjoy meeting everybody. I also appreciate everybody who subscribes. I know we picked some up while I was out of town. We've lost some, picking them up, losing some. Losing some's always normal. Don't know who they are. I'm just sorry they didn't stick around, because we're gonna get into some scenarios or strategies. One of the things I want to do is coming up is I want to develop a strategy of taking some of the more popular strategies off the internet or off YouTube and use my toss on their strategies. Most of the strategies that you see are always somebody who's just, playing the table off on one end of the table, and they're just rolling them like so. I want to do some of them with some real tosses. See how they work. Kind of entertainment reasons, basically. I'm also going to try to schedule one on Bone Tracker with Nate Fernandez, who's one of the programmers for it. They're working on a lot of new stuff, and he's agreed to kind of do a simulated walkthrough on how he uses it, or on a book of tosses that he's been sent. It's a great program. If you're not tracking your tosses, you really need to be tracking your tosses. I can't say enough. I wouldn't come up with some of the sets I come up with without Bone Tracker. And they're all geared towards how you're throwing the dice in the last 700 to 1,400 tosses. So I'm going to try to get that done. It's not going to be a live. I'm not technically aware enough to do a live interview stream like our buddy Saint Bet was. But it'll be along that same lines but I want him to come in and talk about how he's using Bone Tracker, how he's using it with students, and some of the things that they're trying to put into it as well. They've got a new betting tool that I've used or done some beta testing with, that kind of thing. They're working on an all tall small situation, whereas if you've thrown in, let's just say 720 tosses, it will tell you how many times you hit the small, how many times you hit the tall, and how many times you hit the all. So you're going to find out with certain die sets you would have hit maybe the tall more than the small. If that's the case, then it's probably going to make sense for you to have more on the tall than the small. Those are things that will give you a little bit of, I'm not going to really say advantage, but you can say it's an advantage. At least it gives you an idea of what you may expect, and you can bet accordingly. I plan to do it, so hopefully he'll have that info for us. I hope he does. I think that about covers it. You guys go practice like you play like you practice, and then let's go roll the wind.